What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off in local news, nuclear power plants could be reopened in case of emergency. That's according to Vice President and DPP presidential candidate Lai Ching-te. An unexpected statement from Taiwan's Vice President Lai Ching-te at a town hall in a Taipei university. In contrast to his party's plans to decommission and dismantle the country's 4 nuclear power plants by 2038, Lai says he is open to keeping them intact for emergencies should he win the presidency in next year's polls.
相关单位有在规划，怎么样把这个已经这个停机的这一个核能机组维持一个可以未来紧急使用的这种情况。
Lai's statement was in response to a hypothetical question about a Chinese naval blockade around Taiwan. Should that happen, energy supplies would be limited. Taiwan imports 80% of its energy. But its proponents see nuclear power as a way for Taiwan to sustain itself.
Taiwan, it is a small island. That's why we need more stable electricity supply for this island. So they are supporting nuclear power because in terms of energy security, nuclear power is the best solution for Taiwan.
When current President Tsai Ing-wen took office in 2016, the government began decommissioning nuclear plants in favor of other energy sources, such as liquefied natural gas and green energy. The goal is for Taiwan to create more avenues to become energy independent, including harnessing solar and wind power. By 2025, 15% of the island should be dependent on renewable and clean energies. But before then, Taiwan will elect a new president. And with many here against the use of nuclear energy, Lai's statement could affect his chances in next year's polls. One person is dead and another missing after strong waves driven by Typhoon Mawar swept them out to sea. The search for the missing person continues as the storm approaches Taiwan's east coast. John Van Trieste has the latest.
In Alishan County in northeastern Taiwan, it's day 2 of a search for a child who's missing at sea. The middle school student had gone to the beach on Sunday morning for a walk with a 25-year-old man she'd met online. A high wave overtook them. The man says he was only able to save himself and called for help. Taiwan's east coast is experiencing rough seas as Typhoon Mawar approaches. Waves in some areas have reached 4 meters high, hindering rescue efforts. A search by boat had to be called off in favor of a drone search due to the bad conditions.
我们在持续的搜索中。那我们另外有请渔业电台广播通知作业渔船协助搜索失联的民众。
To the south in Hualien County, high waves driven by the storm have already claimed at least 1 life. Also on Sunday, a huge swell carried away 2 boys who'd been playing with friends, despite warnings.
跟他们说就是不要太靠近啊，他们说没事没事这样，是没有看到他们掉下去，是那个小朋友跑上来说他们被卷下去。
Though rescuers managed to save 1 boy, a helicopter search found a second one dead on Sunday afternoon. Typhoon Mawar has already caused heavy damage in Guam, and Taiwanese officials expect to issue a sea warning Monday afternoon. The storm will linger off Taiwan's east coast from Wednesday to Friday, gradually turning north toward Japan. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang says his company will release a new type of super chip that's designed for artificial intelligence. He says this chip will allow computers to better learn and adapt to tasks that they're given.
This computer doesn't care how you program it. It will try to understand what you mean because it has this incredible large language model capability. And so the programming barrier is incredibly low. We have closed the digital divide. Everyone is a programmer now.
Huang was speaking at Computex Taipei, Asia's largest computer expo. His company broke records last Thursday after its valuation reached $1 trillion. Nvidia's growth comes from producing chips that power AI. Huang said in a speech on Saturday that AI technology is a golden opportunity for Taiwan. But those rapid advances in AI pose an ever greater risk of the spread of misinformation, particularly when it comes to elections. Taiwan is no stranger to information warfare, having to fend off thousands of cyber attacks on a regular basis. But with a presidential election on the way, AI could bring a host of new threats to Taiwan's democratic process. Joyce Tseng reports.
Earlier this week, this image appeared on Twitter. It claimed to show the aftermath of a huge explosion near the Pentagon across the river from Washington, D.C. Almost immediately, multiple accounts, including some posing as news outlets, began spreading the photo across the platform. The thing is, this image is completely fake. Although the U.S. authorities quickly debunked the picture, it had very real-world effects, making waves on social media and causing the U.S. stock market to momentarily plummet. You may think deepfakes are as easy to spot as any other fake image, but what happens when artificial intelligence advances to a point where you're not so sure anymore? Generative AI is the branch of artificial intelligence that can produce its own content, whether that's text, images, or even sound and video. The most well-known example of this is ChatGPT, a chatbot from American tech lab OpenAI, which can replicate human-like conversations. At a hearing with the United States Congress this month, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman made a solemn warning about this type of tech. His concerns matched those of many others, that AI misinformation could be used to manipulate large numbers of people.
Given that we're going to face an election next year and these models are getting better, I think this is a significant area of concern.
One country which recently saw deepfakes taint its democratic process is Turkey. Tensions rose in the lead-up to Turkey's May elections after its incumbent president Recep Tayyip Erdoğan cited a doctored video at a rally which appeared to show his main rival with a Kurdish militant chief. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, the run-up to next year's presidential elections is well underway, with the candidates for the country's main political parties already hitting the campaign trail. But the country is extremely vulnerable to cyber aggression, particularly from China, which considers Taiwan as part of its territory. Taiwan reportedly battles more than 20 million cyber attacks a month, the majority of which are thought to come from China. And using AI-generative deepfakes could give these cyber attackers even more ammunition.
有心利用这样子的事件来攻击台湾的话，那么合理的判断是它会搭配其他的威胁手段，搭配假错讯息的攻势。
Taiwan has already amended its law to make creating and distributing computer-generated fake images and audio a crime. But it still faces the dilemma of how to regulate advancing AI technology. It must now strike a balance between allowing users free access to information tools while also keeping dangerous fabrications from popping up. As the country gets ready to choose its next president, the stakes for being able to discern what is real and what's not just got even higher. Klein Wang and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
In international news, Japan says it will shoot down any North Korean missile that enters its airspace. This comes after Pyongyang alerted Tokyo that it plans to launch its first military spy satellite into orbit sometime between May 31st and June 11th. Tokyo urged Pyongyang not to go through with the launch and said it is preparing to destroy any projectile that would land in Japanese territory. Military experts say that this satellite is part of North Korea's efforts to step up its surveillance technology. They say it could be used to guide North Korean missiles in a military conflict. Ukraine has shot down dozens of Russian missiles and drones. That's according to the capital Kyiv's military administration. The announcement was made after Russian drones attacked Kyiv overnight on Sunday. Officials say it was the largest drone attack on the city since the war started. One person has been reportedly killed. The attack took place on the anniversary of Kyiv's founding over 1,500 years ago. It also comes as rumors swirl about an imminent Ukrainian counteroffensive. U.S. President Joe Biden and members of the opposition Republican Party say they have reached an in-principle agreement to lift the U.S. debt ceiling. Biden and Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Sunday said they'd agreed to suspend the $31 trillion debt limit until 2025. If approved, the move will prevent the federal government from defaulting on its debts. The agreement will now need to be passed by a divided Congress before June 5th. The U.S. Treasury Department says the country will run out of money if a deal isn't reached by this date.
Speaker McCarthy and I have had several productive conversations, and our staffs continue to meet as we speak, as a matter of fact, and they're making progress. I've made clear time and again defaulting on our national debt is not an option. The American people deserve to know that the Social Security payments will be there. The Veterans Hospitals remain open. and that economic progress will be made, and we're going to continue to make it.
Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been re-elected after winning a runoff vote on Sunday. Erdogan beat his opponent, former civil servant Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, with just over 52% of the vote. The final results have not been released. Erdogan has ruled Turkey for 20 years. While his first decade in power saw rapid economic growth, his more recent economic policies have been blamed for high inflation and a cost of living crisis. He has also become increasingly authoritarian, cracking down on dissent and civil society. The Turkish president thanked his supporters at a victory speech in Istanbul on a Sunday night.
Öyle bir kazanacağız ki kimse kaybetmeyecek demiştik. Öyleyse bugün kazanan sadece Türkiye'dir.
When you think of places that grow coffee, you might think of Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia. But growers here in Taiwan are showing their bean cultivating chops, with some crops going for high prices. Leslie Liao has more.
15 kilograms of Taiwan-grown coffee beans just sold for close to $8,500 US. This transaction took place at the 2023 Alishan Coffee Evaluation and Assessment. The annual competition pits coffee beans from Taiwan's southwestern Kyiv County against each other. Kyi's Alishan mountain area has been home to high-end coffee producers in recent years.
感谢所有的农民这一年来的辛苦，对抗这一次的大旱，还能种出这么好的咖啡。
This year, a panel of 15 judges sought to determine the best bean in the county. 10 of them have experience evaluating coffee at international competitions. Entrants could submit their produce in 5 categories, and the winning beans were auctioned off.
今天有大概50多位买家。
For coffee lovers in Taiwan, the outcome of this competition might be proof that they don't have to look elsewhere in the world for a good cup of joe. Leon Lian and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Monday marks the 70th anniversary of the first ascent of Mount Everest. On May 29, 1953, New Zealand's Sir Edmund Hillary and Nepali Sherpa Tenzing Norgay became the first people to ascend to the world's highest peak. The anniversary comes about a week after a Nepali Sherpa guide became the first person to scale Everest 28 times. Sherpas are known for their climbing skills, and they make a living mainly by guiding foreign clients in the Himalayas. The season's first wave of climbers reached Everest summit this weekend. Hundreds of people will attempt to scale the mountain in the coming weeks. 20,000 visitors to Taiwan have won the tourism lottery. It's part of a plan to bring in more tourists after the COVID pandemic. Bing Wong takes a look at whether Taiwan's tourism industry is ready to bounce back.
This person has just won the jackpot, a $150 voucher just for traveling to Taiwan as a tourist. It's part of government efforts to bring in more visitors. In May, the Transport Ministry organized a lottery for tourists to Taiwan, with 20,000 prizes up for grabs. The Transport Minister says he's confident 6 million tourists will come by the end of the year. But not all experts are so sure.
入境的话，大概现在只恢复到将近30%多而已，但是出境已经达到这个5、6成了，这个是我们注意到的这个现象。所以现在有比较大的观光逆差。
While Taiwanese officials seem confident they can boost visitor numbers, the outlook for many in the tourism industry remains far more conservative. Alex Chen and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, check out these shots of what people in Taiwan's Matsu Islands call blue tears. This phenomenon is caused by glowing microorganisms. I'm Eric Yao. Take care and see you next time.